Today's Swole Fam Spotlight is from Ellen Josephine. What's going on, Beaches? Welcome to the Daily Swole Podcast, 2673, Friday, September the 1st, striated September. Welcome, welcome. Ellen Josephine writes, I spent 3 years working out and eating 1,200 calories a day to only lose about 10 kilograms, gain a little muscle, and be tired all the time. Last year, I found this group through a YouTube video. I signed up for Swolenormous X. It was a whirlwind of a year, losing my business of 5 years to floods, not getting into the police academy, getting held up by an armed robber, and now working a desk job for the first time ever. I was off my nutrition, off my gym, just plain off. Once I joined, the amount of support in the Swole Fam has pushed me. I have rejoined a gym, I am back on my nutrition, and have a newfound zest. From not wanting to get up on the weekends to doing anything to waking up early every Saturday or Sunday and taking both the dogs to the dog park and actually running around. I have more energy and motivation than ever. If you ever feel like your motivation is dwindling or you need support, the Swole Fam has got your back. I agree. The Swole Fam's fantastic. If you're ready to join Ellen Josephine and the rest of the Swole Fam, join us, swolenormousx.com. Welcome to the podcast. Everyone is coming on into the live streams. Make sure you check the descriptions down below for the information on how you can pick up some of the latest merch over at papaswolio.com. Use code Daily Swole for 10% off. But I believe at the time of recording this, I believe we have a big 20% off site-wide special for Labor Day weekend. So go and check it out, papaswolio.com. And of course, join the fam today, swolenormousx.com. I just did a great class this morning, Recovery Flow. I believe it was Recovery Flow 4, an Express Recovery Flow. There's a great class with Alex inside the Swolenormous X Yoga Studio. So check out everything we have to offer for members over at swolenormousx.com. Again, that's swolenormousx.com. And you have all the programs, nutrition, yoga, meditation, masterclasses, and so much more. So go and give that a checkalooski. And of course, if you're a member, you get access to all the private live streams. Today is Friday, which means we have an overtime segment for members. We have brand new Balls Deep edits and, of course, a Drive Mo Gaining Uncensored for members only. Very excited about that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 2673. The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
The Second Amendment, like all other rights, is not absolute.
Shit is gonna go down.
We need to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
Would that include a bullet from this gun?
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, you ain't black.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Swolenormous.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing, testicles. Testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 2674 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, hustlers, and yo-hos? It's your boy, Papa Swolio, back with another episode. Today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all you be.
Fucking Catalina.
Yowza, fucking Catalina.
The fucking Catalina one.
Fam, welcome to the show. welcome to the show. It is Friday, and you know what that means, fam? It is time for overtime. So we will be getting into an amazing overtime segment. Big shout out to Ellen in the pre-roll today. So if you're listening or if you're watching now, you can rewind later. Every intro of the show, we do a nice Swole Fam spotlight. So if you want to join all these amazing people inside the Swole Fam, go to swolenormousx.com. And of course, we have an overtime segment going live immediately following today's live stream for members. So that'll be inside the Daily Swole Telegram chat. Now we have brand new edits, brand new Drive Mode Gaining Uncensored. It's going to be fucking fantastic. So looking forward to that. Without further ado, drop in the comments down below. What are you smashing? Come one, come all. Let's get into today's episode. Hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of that shiznit. Now let's bust the nut wide open. Welcome to September 1st. And a lot of you already know what the Swole card is. So drop that hashtag in the comments down below. Striated September. Striated September, indeed. Indeed. Striated September. Fuck yeah. All right, fam. Drop that hashtag in the comments down below. It's time to get absolutely fucking ripped for September. That being said, let's get into today's tip. Time to moisturize. Babe, just an inch, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, so we have the Daily Swole, going over, if you want apparel, merch, all that amazing stuff, go and check out papaswolio.com. So on these images, just to kind of give you a rundown again, for those that might not be aware, we have a lot of new merch that we've released in the past few weeks, but everything says on the pictures, it says Daily Swole for 10% off. It says that in the description, but it's Labor Day week and we're running a big 20% off everything sale. So just head on over there. It's applied automatically at checkout, but we have the brand new, the V1 of the Frankenswolio design, Go to the Fucking Gym. We have the Nightmare Before Swoleness, which is an all-time, it's already all-time. Sometimes we release a design and it's just all-time goated already. What a fucking great design. We also have Go to the Fucking Gym, the Swole Signal design, the Batman design. We have the brand new Swolio family, which is, again, instant goated design for the holidays. Fucking awesome design, the Swolio family. And of course, we have the new Swolosophy series. We have a great shirt that a lot of you are going to be rocking real soon. Bring back the buildings with the rooms with the padded walls. Please. Bring back those rooms. Bring back those buildings. We need a lot of them. A lot of them. Time for some construction, fam. Time for some construction. All right, let's get into the first Swole Fam post. We got a few. Let's jump right in. Balls first. Why not? Balls first. Bex says, hi, looking for a pre-workout recommendation. I'm a basic bitch for Alani Nu. What? LOL, but looking for some others. Price point really isn't an issue for me. I have no idea what you just said, but in terms of pre-workouts, most people just take something with caffeine and stimulants, so black coffee. If you're not getting energy from black coffee, you're not sleeping enough, straight up. You don't need tons of stimulants. You don't need tons of flavorings or monk fruit or stevia. I don't know what you just mentioned. I guess that's a brand of supplements, but you don't need a lot of these artificial flavorings and sweetening. You don't need anything to taste like unicorn jizz. Unicorn rainbow jizz. You don't need electric unicorn flavored anything. There's a ton of sweetener. Tons and tons and tons of crap. So what I would recommend is black coffee. That's my personal take on it. Quality sleep. And of course, you can just mix your own. You can get stuff from bulk supplements. You can actually weigh these things out if you want to take betaine or citrulline malate or beta-alanine or agmatine. These types of things are fine. I've never had any issues with things like that if you want for a pump or for a focus or for maybe endurance in terms of your training, depending on what type of approach you're taking. But creatine, just taking the raw ingredients is fine. And the reason why I say mix your own is, one, it's cheaper. And two, you actually know what you're getting, and you're actually getting an efficacious dose. So if you're going by what scientific studies say or things that are recommended for that reason, there might be a study that uses 6 or 8 grams for citrulline malate for blood flow, for vasodilation, right? For pumps and stuff like that. But when you buy one of these supplements from the stores, I haven't seen the latest ones, but they're usually nowhere near what is actually tested. So the reason why they're putting the supplement or the substance in that pre-workout, it's not even the actual dose that was tested that would make it effective. So my recommendation is, if you're going to take any of those active ingredients, you could just buy them yourself and weigh them yourself. Anthony says, but I love rainbow unicorn jizz. You do.
What happened to your queer party friends?
You do. Anthony Toner likes swallowing. Everyone knows that unicorn jizz is just a load of horse cum. If you watch Driving While Gaining, unicorn jizz is just a load of horse cum, just a load of horse cum, just a load of horse cum. Unicorn jizz is just a load of horse cum. You know the song. Everyone knows that. If you're drinking unicorn jizz, you're just... That's a kink. That's a kink. Thanks for sharing, Tony. Brenda says, a couple of farm fresh eggs, some sauerkraut, a little bit of hebbed butter, and blueberries in coconut and raw milk kefir with a dollop of raw honey and generous salt. Dinner of Swole champions. Ooh, look at you. Brenda's getting wild with it. Brenda's meals are getting fucking intense. Sauerkraut and kefir. Brenda, there's a difference between probiotics and just biotics. You're not even, it's like when people say ultra MAGA, right? That fucking nonsense that they call Trump supporters ultra MAGA. It's like ultra biotic. Brenda is just, can I have all the bacteria, please? I just want all of it. Do you take probiotics? Yes. Sauerkraut and kefir. Just ferment my life. Just ferment my life. Well, good for you, Brenda. I hope it's going well for you. Respect to your toilet. All right, Lacey. So I have a question. I was told by a really smart gym friend. I don't remember having a conversation with you, Lacey. Oh, I'm on fire today. I was told by a really smart gym friend that I should take vitamin D.
Because.
Last time my vitamin D was tested, I'm on the higher end of optimal. I live in Arizona and get a ton of sun. He said because I'm a strength athlete, I should still supplement it. Thoughts on why? I don't drink fortified store milk, obviously. I'm not sure what store milk has to do with it. But vitamin D is fat soluble. It's not really a vitamin. It's a hormone. You're not going to have any harm if you take, let's say, 5,000 IUs a day. Now, of course, it's total body sun, depends on where the sun is in the sky. You're in Arizona, I'm in Florida, so you can get tons of vitamin D, and you don't have to get sun all day long every day to have enough vitamin D, but you're definitely not going to have any harm if you just supplement with it, as long as the supplement that you're taking for vitamin D doesn't have a lot of other things in there. You know, if you're just taking vitamin D straight, you're not getting all these other things in the capsules and gelatins or things that might cause you issues. So if it's just straight vitamin D, you don't need a ton to supplement. It's super cheap, so you're really not losing anything. You're not going to cause any harm if you take just a standard dose. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much it will make a difference if you test it on the higher end. I guess it depends. But I don't think you'll have any issues if you supplement with it. So in this situation, again, this isn't a medical recommendation, but in this situation, what's the pros and cons? What's the negative of taking let's say one serving. I'm not saying take 10,000 or 20,000 IUs of vitamin D, but just 5,000 in addition to your getting sun. You're not going to overdose. It's not going to cause you any problems. Why would it? So either you're the same or maybe there's a little benefit, but I don't think there's any, I wouldn't see any harm there at all. So it's not like it's expensive or it's a risk. But vitamin D is fantastic. Getting sun. And that's one of the things that most people are deficient in vitamin D. Most people are deficient in vitamin D. And that's why getting sun is so important. And even if you're at northern latitudes, even in the summer, you're not getting tons of vitamin D. You can get some, but you really need a substantial amount. Humans are meant to live more, equatorially. But you want to get full body sun. And we're not talking, oh, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. No, you want sun on your nips. That's why I have the shirts on the nips. You don't want just, oh, I got sun on my forearms and my calves. That's not a lot. And a lot of people don't go out in the sun during the middle parts of the day. That's very important. So anyway, vitamin D is fine for you. I recommend people take it. Robert says, gotta start somewhere. I started this shit 2 years ago with one kettlebell and a yoga mat last year. I threw in a mace and a barbell this year. The addiction has taken over. Hashtag go to the fucking gym. All right. Robert is showing his home gym and I understand. Me understandy the addiction. Trust me. I know. For me, it started with some power blocks in the apartment, a couple kettlebells, a bench, some bands. And then it expanded to getting a squat rack out in the backyard and then getting a half rack inside. Then I got into maces and clubs and I got a whole kettlebell set and I started building that out more. And then I got a hack squat. And then, of course, now I have a whole fucking gym outside. So it keeps on going. But like I say, when it comes to nutrition and gym stuff, it's an investment. It's not an expense. And if you take care of your equipment, it'll be good forever. If you take care of your gym equipment, it'll be good forever. It's metal. If it gets a little bit rusty, you sand it off or it builds character. So it's just, it'll keep on giving back to you as long as you take care of it. As long as you take care of your stuff, it'll last. Even with machines, like the machines I have outside, sure, there might be a little surface rust on a couple of things, but you grease it up, it's fine. You just keep it out. It doesn't sit in water. Even if they get a little wet once in a while, it's fine. This is just fucking metal, steel. Just take care of your shit. Keep on growing. Papa's backyard is where gym equipment goes to die? Nancy, what are you smoking over there, my dear? That's where fitness equipment goes to live. That's what I'm saying. Andrew says buy a farm and you can skip a lot of equipment or buy a lot of equipment. Maybe that was a spell correct. Yeah, I know. This is me thinking like, oh shit. Now I'm thinking land. But the thing is, I don't want to, there's a lot of good land or less expensive land if you're going more up north, like West Virginia or Iowa or the Midwest. Like there's a lot of land and stuff. I don't want cold, man. I don't want cold. It's harder. It's hard to find a lot of land and stuff in Florida. You can go more central. I don't know. But we'll see. So right now I just have those canopies. If a hurricane comes, if a hurricane's like coming for us, I'm just going to take them down and I'll get a couple. I'll have one or two big tarps just to cover them up. And I have so many weights. I have thousands of pounds of plates and I'll just lay the plates on them. Hurricane won't blow it off. I mean, I guess it could, but if I have just like 45s all over the tarps, it probably would just like the wind will blow on it. It's not going to lift it up. If I have all the 45s all around, because I don't care if the plates get wet. And then of course it'll get drenched. The water, there'll be water, it'll drain and then, put the canopies back up. It'll just be a day's work each way. Anyway, but we'll see what happens. If anything, after this season, maybe, we'll see. After this season, we'll see. We might put down like, I don't know how long we're planning on staying here. So if anything, we'll put down a big concrete the whole area and then put up like an official, roof thing, make it a nice thing. It's actually a good thing that there's not more space. So I've like stopped looking for equipment. There's a couple things I want, but I really don't have any more space. I don't feel like moving things around. I don't feel like selling anything that I have. So right now I'm kind of like, okay. I mean, it'll never stop unless I stop. So I'm just kind of like, I've seen things. I'm like, I don't really need that. I don't really want to spend any more right now on equipment. I have everything, more than everything that I could ever use. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it right now. But if I had more space, oh yeah, I'd fill it. Lindsay, West Texas is cheap and no hurricanes. Yeah, but you have a garbage power grid and it gets cold as fuck. So not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. But yeah, I know there's a lot of land over there. But I know it gets cold there too. I know it gets cold there. So there are a couple options, but I do like Florida. There are places. But we have a large lot for where we are. Unusually large. So, like the whole gym area is off to the side. When you go in the back, like we still have a huge, like a full yard without it interrupting it. Papa's Wild Gym Equipment Sanctuary. It's like an adoption agency for equipment. All right, let's see. Matt, Papa will still be out there getting after it on Platts in the middle of a hurricane. Quite possibly. But that's the thing. If there was a hurricane coming, those canopies, they would just get fucking destroyed. And they would fly, or who knows? I mean, they're all anchored down, but you get over 100-mile-an-hour winds. They ain't going to survive. So I'd rather it'd be a pain in the ass, but take them all down, put them inside or lean them up somewhere, tie them up, and then it'll just be a day of putting them back up. But it's worth it. Also true, Lady Hawk. Remember, you never truly own land. You continually have to pay the rent to the state for it, aka taxes. Indeed. That is true. You're allowed to, quote, own it. That's the thing. You don't really own these things. You don't really own, like, you kind of own your house, but not really. If you buy a house, you don't really. Okay. As long as you can defend it. Things start to break down. If you could defend it, you own it. You have control over it. If people let you own it, right? Okay, let's see. Let's get into some questions. Knowledge Cock time. We have overtime coming up right at the end of today's show. So let's get into some questions. We can continue some topics. If you got any thoughts or any questions, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. Giac Galley. Papa Swolio, what advice do you have for people who don't go to the fucking gym? To go to the fucking gym.
Matt Damon.
All right, starting off with a retarded question. Kobo Bogum. Can I get a girlfriend, Papa Swolio, without going to the gym? Can I get a girlfriend? I mean, sounds like you're going to be the girlfriend. But then she'll leave you for someone who does go to the fucking gym. So I wouldn't recommend it. Japark 003. Curious on how you came up with Matt Damon for stupid questions / comments. Well, it's from
Matt Damon.
Team America World Police. And it's referencing stupid fucking questions like that one. All right. Respect. Not everyone's seen that amazing movie. The Diamond Painter. Hey, Papa Swolio, what's your go-to protein supplement? Steak. If you need a protein powder, I would recommend getting a unflavored grass-fed whey protein. They have really good ones that you can get on Amazon. They're not as cheap as other ones, but they also don't have flavorings and other stabilizers. You want to get one that's like third-party tested. You want to get one that doesn't have ultra processing, that doesn't have any stabilizers, soy lecithin or sunflower shit in it. Or go right for bull milk. Go right for bull milk. All right. Panhedrej. Panhe, Dr. Derzej? Papa Swolio, 3 very hard workouts per week versus 5 just hard. You said hard twice. So 3 very hard workouts versus 5 just hard. How are you quantifying any of this? The volume over the course of 7 or 10 days matters, but the intensity matters. So if you're doing 5 workouts a week, maybe you're doing more volume, but you're not training as hard, so you need more volume. It really depends. That's not specific enough, to be honest. I would say train very hard, but you could train very hard 5 days in a week if you split up the body parts and you don't do too much volume. But everyone's different. Recoverability is different. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish and what works best for you. So there's a big, I don't want to say there's a big argument, but there's a lot of videos going back and forth on TikTok in particular about low volume working or high volume. You have a lot of people that are like, high volume's better, high volume works. And people are like, low volume works. Well, they both can work. It really depends on how intensely you're training. The lower the volume you're doing, the more intense those sets need to be for that to work. If you're training very intensely to absolute failure, as close to it, you're not going to be able to do as much volume as someone who's doing many more sets. But for someone who's a beginner or people that like doing a little bit more volume, you don't necessarily have to train, or you're not going to train as close to absolute failure because you won't be able to, it's not necessary. You can get that same or similar stimulus with more volume, but your intensity isn't going to be as high in order to accomplish that kind of volume, meaning how many sets for a body part in a week, for example, over the course of a week. So for me, for example, Maximum Swole usually has about 1 to 2 sets per body part. For me, there's like a sweet spot. I've done 4 sets for a body part, like 3 or 4 exercises, 1 set. I find for me, there's like a good range between 4 to 8 sets. So it really depends. It really depends. But I'm kind of like around 6 to 8 sets per body part in a week. So if I'm doing chest, I'll do 3 exercises, 2 sets each, maybe 4 exercises, 2 sets each, maybe 4 exercises, 1 exercise I do 2 sets, the other ones I do 1. So I'm doing 5 to 8 sets. It depends. It depends on how I feel. It depends on what I want to focus on for that workout and what the rest of my split is for that week. So I have a couple of things I kind of switch around, whether I'm doing calves or forearms or where I do my shoulders. Sometimes I'll do shoulders all together, my anterior deltoid, middle deltoid, and posterior. Sometimes I'll do anterior and my middle deltoid with tricep. Like, it depends. So I kind of dynamically switch things around. As long as you're giving the body parts enough time to recover, you're recovering enough, that's all going to make a difference. So the more volume you're doing, you might need more recovery. So everyone's different with their recovery, and everyone's different with how they react and how they adapt. So if you're making progress and you're seeing progress, you can stick with it. Even if it's more volume, if you're seeing good changes and everything else is going well, maybe that's working for you. But if you're training very, very intensely, it just doesn't match with doing very high volume, because it's not going to be high intensity if you're doing that much volume. There's a point of diminishing returns. So doing low volume, high intensity, like sets to failure, and just doing 1 set for an exercise, that could be enough. But maybe 2 sets would be a little bit better, like a back off set or a set with the same amount of stimulating reps. But of course, maybe 1 or 2 sets for that exercise is good. But then you start going 3 to 4 and you're doubling or tripling the volume overall, and there's a diminishing return. So you have to find that period where you're recovering enough, you're making progress, you're stimulating, and all those things. So if you find that you're not recovering enough, then you need to back off on the volume and reassess. So again, if you're hitting plateaus, if you're not making progress, then you need to reassess the intensity of your training, the volume, your splits, those types of things. All right, let's get into another question. Freddie Papasoli with Zercher squats. Do your arms build up pain tolerance like your upper back does on barbell squats? Been using my elbow sleeves on them as of now. Yeah, you'll get used to things. You'll build up tolerance. I mean, I don't do them. We talked about them yesterday. But yeah, like front squats, people get sore from doing front squats or back squats. You just get used to things. Your muscles build up and you get more used to the pain. You still might get bruising or have discomfort. And that'd be one of the downsides to things like Zercher squats, is that if you're doing more bodybuilding type training and things like that, and you're holding it's going to negatively affect your ability to do bicep curls. You might get tendonitis. You might cause inflammation. You can use pads and stuff like that. I personally don't do those squats, but like with anything else, your body will adapt to things over time. How well, I think it depends on your muscle tone and et cetera, et cetera. Papa Swole, have you heard of SBO supplements? Soil-based organisms to enhance the gut biome. Yes and no. Soil-based organisms. I mean, I've heard of those words, soil-based organisms. I mean, things that live in the ground. To enhance the gut biome. But I haven't really, I don't know if what you're talking about in terms of particular, but there's a lot of things that will improve gut biome. I'm not really sure of the mechanism or of a particular supplement, something that's specific. Just eating dirt, you mean? James, Papa Swole, I've been doing a 3-day total body and 3-day mobility split. Summer runs in the morning. You have the runs? Liver shits, James? Debating if I should continue in the winter, switching to elliptical. Oh, run, like running. Switching to elliptical or go back to a bro split. I'm not a fan of that kind of derogatory terminology when it comes to bro, like bro split. Bro, the reason why it's called a bro split is like, oh, I do chest on one day, I do back on another day. There's nothing wrong with that. It fucking works. Anyone that says it doesn't work is just lying to you. You need to train a muscle. If you're natural, you need to train a muscle every 48 hours. That's nonsense. It's ridiculous. Your body needs the stimulus and it needs recovery. And then progressive overload. That's how you're going to build muscle. There's many different ways to do it. So bro splits are not silly. Anyone that thinks like a bro split, no, it's totally fine. And it's actually very effective because you could focus, you could train, and you can break things apart in a way where you could recover locally, not over fatigue yourself systemically, and train more frequently. So if you're doing, like I did shoulders and triceps on, I forget what day, a couple days ago. And then the next day I did quads. The next day I did chest and calves. And then today I just did some yoga. I did yoga yesterday, did some mobility. Tomorrow I'll do, and I look at I see what I did more recently or within the last week, and I'll see what needs to be worked on depending on what I'm focusing on. So there's nothing wrong with a different split or a more segmented split. You're debating. I don't know. It's up to you, man. You're saying you're debating if I should continue in the winter. If you're making progress, then continue. If you want to mix things up, then mix things up. You could mix things up for your own personal preference. So I want to stay away from the term, oh, what do you enjoy? Well, you want to do what works. But guess what? Usually when you're doing something that works, you're going to enjoy it because it's working. So I like lifting. I love to train. So if I'm doing a workout and I'm only doing 4 exercises, 1 set each, like it's almost not enough lifting for me. I like to lift. I like to train. So I've been enjoying doing 2 sets for an exercise, but I'll still keep the volume more limited. I'm playing around with it. You can always go back to 1 set. You want to start with an all-out set, and then you want to do as little volume as you need to create the stimulus to see progress so you can recover. If you just start off doing way too much, it's going to be hard to cut back down unless you're a beginner and you're learning how to lift and you're not going to as close to failure. So it really depends. And a lot of people just want an answer, but a lot of this is trial and error. You have to put these things in to your programming and execute on them consistently, and then see how you feel and see how you're reacting to it, and then take it from there. Mika, Papa Swole, do you have any yoga series for elbow and wrist mobility? My elbows pop and crack when I do skull crushers and French presses. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel great. You might just need to change your grip. There's a lot of yoga and Swolga for wrist. Yeah. And elbows and shoulders. Absolutely. There's many of them in the yoga studio. You just got to scroll through, check them out. And Swolga too. There's like wrists and forearms, ankle and wrists and things like that. It's in the titles. Absolutely. And also the shoulder awareness program in the program vault is great for unpacking the shoulders and the shoulder girdle and the thoracic spine. Freddie, noticed you mentioned tendonitis on the Zercher squats. Could that possibly explain the elbow pain I've been recently getting on my tricep isolation work? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what you're doing. It could. I mean, tendonitis can come from overuse, from friction, but you're also, you could bang your elbow and hurt something and have inflammation. I mean, you're putting it on your biceps tendon. For me personally, if you're doing squats, you don't need to, why hold in your elbows? So I'm not saying anything bad against Zercher squats. It's just, why are you doing it? Like, you could do belt squats, you could do hack squats, you can get a safety bar. There's a lot of different ways to do squats. But let's be honest, if you're trying to focus on your legs, there's better ways to squat. What are you trying to target? What are you trying to target? Like, there's no possible reason why I want to put like 300-400 pounds like in my elbow. Like, why would I want to do that? I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. It depends on what you're training for. But if you're trying to overload your legs, there's better ways. So it certainly could be, but I don't know what else you're doing. Bookworm, why do I hear snapping and popping when I do push-ups? I don't know. Time to mobilize those. Why do I hear snapping and popping? I don't know. Where do you hear snapping and popping? Warm up your wrists, warm up your elbows, do some more band work and corrective exercise and yoga. My ankles crack sometimes. Like, if it causes pain, that might be something to look into. But if no pain, a lot of people's joints kind of crack and rub or have friction. Freddie, the main reason I'm Zercher squatting is to help my carries for sandbags, stones, kegs, etc. I'll mess around with them and see if elbow pain gets better. Are you doing competitions? Again, it depends, right? So, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're doing it for competition, if you're doing it for fitness, you just like doing it, there's trade-offs. There's trade-offs to things. So, again, right? It really depends on what you are trying to accomplish, right? The type of training that you do is going to lead to the adaptations. I always like asking why, like a 3-year-old, because why? You want to help your carries for sandbags, stones, kegs? Why? Why you want to carry around kegs? You just like doing it? Okay. I mean, that's a reason. So it depends on why you're trying to do it. Personally, it just seems like Zercher squats. I've seen people do it. It looks impressive. I just don't see the point. I don't see the point of your lift is only going to be as strong as the weakest link. So again, if you're trying to focus on your legs and you're doing Zercher squats, like obviously there's so much tension on your arms, your spine. There's a lot of other things that it targets. So it really depends on why you're doing it. But yeah, for example, if you're going to compete in competitions that have that type of stuff, then yeah, it makes sense to do it. You love strongman training? Okay, cool. So they have pads and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't do them. All right. What the fuck kind of a question is this? This question, it's not even a question. It's just words. Oh, Narf says vitamins, TRT, podcast. The fuck?
Hadouken!
You made me happy.
Oh, Narf has Tourette's. Vitamins, TRT, podcast. So we have a podcast. I have a podcast. Obviously, we're on it right now. TRT. Are you asking me if I'm on it? I am not on it. I am open to doing it at some point. Vitamins, beef liver and things like that. I don't necessarily take pills and things like that, but magnesium's fantastic. Vitamin D is great. Just words. Vitamin C or Deepak, guys.
Come on, man.
All right, any more questions? We got a lot of good workout questions, though. Sometimes I'm trolling. Yeah, you can get pads. You can use one of those glute pads. Yeah, AbMat makes a Zercher pad, but whatever. Or don't do them. Or pick a better exercise. All right. Hey, Papa, I'm finally moved into my new place. Can't wait to get to my normal sleeping schedule. Hey, round of applause. Get some sleep. Get some sleep. Good man. I'm Ron Burgundy. De la Junior, Papa Swole. My new place doesn't have cold water. I found it this morning, unfortunately, so can't take cold showers in the morning for now. Would that affect me negatively? I mean, if you're trying to take a cold shower and you can't take a cold shower, how do you not have? It doesn't have cold water. Is that's a thing? I suppose. I mean, I guess we only have cold water for a little bit until it gets hot. Would it affect you negatively? I mean, if you're trying to take a cold shower and you can't take a cold shower, then it's going to negatively affect your ability to take a cold shower. I'm not going to hit the Matt Damon soundboard, but I mean, you can get a barrel and freeze bottles of water and take a cold plunge, make your own cold plunge. You could, I mean, that's what's her name does. Brenda does that. All right. Fam. It's time to go balls deep. All right. Good questions. Good questions. We had a bunch of good. That's deep. We had a bunch of good fitness questions. If we have anything else that pops up, feel free to ask. Let's see. Mika says, if you cold plunge regularly, then just stop. What happens? You don't cold plunge anymore. What do you mean? What happens? It's not like your body collapses. What I will say is I stopped doing cold plunging first thing in the morning. I liked it. It was a nice routine, but I felt like it delayed me getting my day started because I would have to dry off and I'd be cold and I'd be warming up outside. And I just tell the story because it's a common thing. Like first thing in the morning, cold plunge. I didn't like the feeling I got when mine broke. So what I did was I was doing it every morning and then the chiller broke. So then I stopped doing cold plunging first thing. And because it was my routine, I was really used to just getting cold first thing. I felt really sluggish. I felt really dragging ass in the morning. So now I wake up with a different way. So now I make sure instead of first thing, I go out and I'm either walking Rufus or I'm walking around the yard or I'm doing some yoga, I'm doing some mobility. I do other things to get me activated. So I like walking and doing other stuff first, but then I cold plunge immediately before. I never cold plunge after a workout because it interrupts the inflammatory response. So it's not really ideal to do it afterwards. So you want that inflammation response to build muscle so your body triggers protein synthesis and things like that. So, but cold plunging before lifting. So I really like that a lot. So I'll do walking, I'll do other stuff. I did mobility. And then if I'm doing the show and then I kind of go out and I'll plunge and then I start warming up to work out. I love that. But I never do it right after a workout. You get used to it. Yeah, you get used to it. You get used to anything. I just don't, I didn't like the way I felt dependent on it first thing. And I didn't like that kind of vulnerability. So now I still do it, but I also don't necessarily do it every day. I like to do it every day, but now I do it around when I'm working out. And sometimes if I'm not working out, sometimes I'll do like on a day where I'm not lifting heavy, I'll sauna. And then after the sauna, I'll go in the cold plunge. And then other days I'll do it right before my workout. And if I don't end up getting into the cold plunge that day for whatever reason, then I don't. And I actually do that on purpose. So I'm a person that likes to do things consistently. But then when it wasn't available, I didn't like how I felt really like, it really negatively affected me because I didn't have it. I was used to it. And I felt hot and I felt So I was depending on it a little bit too much. I got too, I don't want to say I took it for granted. I just got used to that in my routine. So the first thing in the morning, having that cold, sharp shock in the morning was great. But then if I didn't have that, I felt off. And I don't like the feeling of feeling off. So I still do it very consistently. But I use it a little bit more strategically. That way I don't depend on it. So if for whatever reason it breaks again, which I'm quite certain it probably will, these chillers and things don't seem to have that long of a shelf life when they're on all the time and it's hot in summer. So next time it breaks, we'll be like, oh shit, it broke. I'll get another one. And then I won't be like, oh my God, I haven't cold plunged for a couple days, or, oh, I'm so off. I'm used to a little bit more intermittent. So I'm making sure I'm taking that into account. So there's nothing wrong with doing it first thing. And if you're putting your own bottles in, you're doing your own stuff, I just choose that experience for me, shifted my approach to it. But I really do like doing it first thing before I lift. So I really like that because it's hot outside. I'm training in the afternoon or something like that. And I go in there for 3 minutes, invigorating. Then I go and I put my stuff on for the sled, or I grab my club and I start swinging and warming up, and it brings down my body temperature, cools me off, invigorates me. It's a great pre-workout. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got here. And that's the thing. If I walk first thing in the morning to wake up, that's not going to break. I can always go for a walk. I can always do that to wake up. All right. So balls deep. Let's move on. We got overtime coming up in just a few minutes, so get ready for that. Here we go. Any short ones? We'll do a short one first. This one's a little bit shorter. It's called Condescending Phrases. Here we go, fam. Hit the thumbs up button. Share the stream.
What's in the box?
Condescending phrases. Let's see what we got here.
People say that I think are super condescending. That outfit or that top or that dress, it's so flattering. Because realistically, flattering just means it makes you look thinner.
It means you look good. These are people that can't take a fucking compliment. They complain all the time for love and attention. Then you give them a compliment. Oh my God, the outfit's so flattering. That just means you look thinner. Okay, so maybe you do. You don't want someone to tell you to look good? All right, you're fat and ugly. Oh, you called me fat and ugly. There was no pleasing you.
Serious. It just means you look slimmer, hides certain things well. It's not the compliment that you think it is. Okay,
oh, shut
any
up.
use of the word moderation in terms of food. Now I get it. We can't all just have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of one food. I get it. I just think it's really condescending when someone says, yeah, you're allowed that in moderation. Piss off with your moderation, I'll do what I want. And lastly, she looks like she gives great hugs.
Ew.
You get it. I don't think I need to explain that.
She looks like she gives great hugs because you're fat and cuddly. All right. No one says that. No one says she looks like she gives great hugs. If you see an obese person, is that what you think? The first thing that comes to my mind was like, she looks like she gives great hugs. That thought's never crossed my mind. I've never thought that in Walmart. Wow, she looks like she gives great hugs. That's actually what I'm going to say now. Instead of saying like, man, that person's fucking morbidly obese, I'm going to be like, she looks like she gives great hugs. Lindsay says that girl looks like someone's insane ex. Oh, yeah. Well, she's definitely an ex, and she's definitely insane. All right, so don't give compliments to people because they're going to complain about the compliment. This is the same thing as saying, well, you look great today. I didn't look great yesterday? You thought I was ugly yesterday? Whoa. I never said that. I say you look great today. Fine. You look ugly. You think I'm ugly? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's see. Pick a number 1 or 2. I don't think there's a win here. There's dating and there's can't afford food. All right, I'm curious. Pick a number 1 or 2. Pick a number. 1 or 2.
What is the best move to silence a woman?
All right, so we got the puppers here. All right, let's move right along. Here we go, Beaches. Let's see. Lindsay, number 2. Numero dos. Lindsay says number 2, dating preference. Number 2.
People will say, I just have a preference to justify not dating people of color or fat people. And it's like, just have you done any kind of introspection as to why you like who you like? Just a little bit of reflection. That's all we ask. Sure, some of it is random. I really like redheads and I don't know why. I just love me a redhead. But there are multiple factors here that contribute to why you like who you like. It's who you grew up around, the kind of culture you grew up in, things you overheard your friends and family say as a child, the things that society has told you about who's attractive and unattractive, about what's acceptable and not acceptable. If you grow up for 30, 40, 50, 60 years in a society that hates fat people, that's gonna sink in. If you grew up in like a Western society that was built and runs on white supremacy, that's
white supremacy. Jesus Christ. Tell me you're fat without telling me you're fat. Tell me that you need some serious dicking without telling me you need some serious dicking. Just begging. This chick is begging to just begging for the cock. Begging for it. Papa, you're a misogynist. No, I just know the truth. I'm just not afraid to say it. She needs some good salchicha. You all know it's true. You know it's true. Now it's true.
Also gonna sink in. It's not as simple as I just have a preference.
It is.
I grew up around people with dark eyes and dark hair. I like people with dark eyes and dark hair. I was raised in a family of Jewish immigrants. I like people who have similar experiences. I grew up around people who spoke more than one language, so I like people who speak more than one language. Like, it's right there, clear as day. And people are just like, no, I just have a preference.
That's kind of the definition of a preference. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It's called the preference for a reason. I do not think you understand the term preference. So yeah, let me go. I'm going to go find a handicapped black trans person. Maybe that'll make you happy enough. Would that be good? Let's see. Preference definition. Let's see if they've changed this one recently. Preference, the selecting of someone or something over another. Ooh. The right or chance to make a choice. Someone or something so chosen or preferred. Jesus Christ, those are terrible definitions. All right, let's see if we can see if we can get another one. The act of preferring, the state of being preferred. The act or principle of giving advantages to some over others. Ooh, they ain't gonna like that one. Priority in the right to demand and receive satisfaction of an obligation. I oblige you to suck on these nuts. Let's get another definition. Can we not have preference in the definition? Collins Dictionary. If you have a preference for something, you would like or have to do that thing rather than something else. If you give preference to someone with a particular qualification or feature, you choose them rather than someone else. So in other words, it just means, well, I'm choosing this over. So it's a preference. Who cares where it comes from? There are some people that prefer fat people. Not as many as someone who prefers, like even fat women don't want fat men. They would love Ryan Reynolds, right? But they're not going to get, they're not going to get that small percentage of men that are tall, handsome, in good shape, financially stable, right? That's a very small percentage. You're going to have to be a top performing female. So leave your feminism at home and leave your cats, shed the fucking weight, stop sleeping around, and become a higher value female that's going to attract men that actually want to be with you. No one wants to be with the town bicycle, and no one wants to hear whiny, complaining bullshit, male or female. People don't like whiners, naturally. All right. It's a preference. In other words, you're choosing. It doesn't say, well, you're choosing based on cultural standards. That's not the definition. The definition of preference just means like, yeah, I want that over that. Who cares what the reason is? So cope. No one wants you. I don't think it's because of the way you look. I think it's probably the sounds that are coming out of your face hole. Jeez.
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
All right, you can have cats. Some of you are like, but I like my cats. Barrett says, I prefer women that aren't fucking insane. There's that. There's that too. All right, let's do one more. One more, and then we're going to go into overtime. We have one that's called Can't Afford Food. All right. Interesting. I wonder where this is going to go. I don't know where this is going to go yet. It's a response to don't hate on the cats. I do not like cats. I had cats when I was growing up. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what, I had cats growing up. I didn't have any problem with cats. I really don't. But now after I forget when it was, all of a sudden it was just dogs and cats they don't make sense anymore. It's like, why would, I don't see the value in a cat anymore. It switched over. I had cats growing up. And once you have dogs, it's like, oh, dogs are so fucking superior to cats. It's ridiculous. Although Mama Soy and I both I like Sphinx cats. I like Sphinx cats. I would get a Sphinx cat maybe. Maybe. Aside from that, dogs. No question about it. That's my opinion. Deal with it. Look at that. If you want a cat, just get a dog that's as small as a cat. Get a church. She's like a cat. She's the best of both worlds. You don't need to change a cat box. All right. Let's get into it. Can't afford food. Well, some people probably shouldn't be buying food. This is in response to a comment. It says, I think you will survive a few days without food. Eesh. That's the comment on TikTok.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, some cats are cool. Get what you want. I don't care. I'm just teasing. Cats are such a little... Papa's tripping. Dogs are so much better. Give me a break. Give me a break. You can like cats, but saying cats are better than dogs is just... You're silly. You're silly peoples. All right, it's called Can't Afford Food. All right.
I knew the moment I posted that video, somebody was going to make a fat joke. I knew somebody was going to say exactly what you're saying right here. I did not expect it to be another queer person. Anybody who doesn't know what that video said, me and my partner can't afford food. I'm the only one working. My partner is disabled. I don't make enough to support both of us. And this person is saying, since I'm fat, I deserve to starve. That is what this is. There is nothing else this could be. You are a bad person. And I'm going to look you in the eyes when I say you are a bad person. I will come on here semi-frequently and talk about an eating disorder I had/have, in which I would go days without eating, and then I would eat a lot all at one time. It's called a binge restrict eating disorder. And I thought I was in recovery for a long time, but apparently being poor just makes you do it again. But yeah, I am still back in the shit, going days without eating, and then when I get the option to eat again, I eat too much. But anyway, if somebody wants to help me and my partner and also help me keep my car so I can continue going to work to provide for me and my partner, please and thank you.
Well, the first part where it's like, I can't believe this is coming from a queer person. I don't know what that has to do with anything. So just like, oh, this person, I can't believe someone that's also queer. One, what the fuck does that mean? Still, there's those vague definition. It's like, if you're, I don't know, if you want attention, call yourself queer. So we'll just ignore that. So it's this person, look, a lib is upset that someone else in the cult is, saying something that they don't like. Again, this is what happens. It's cannibalism. If you don't agree with everything I say, I can't believe someone with a strange sexuality is disagreeing with me. Has nothing to do with it. I don't know this person's situation. Obviously, a lot of people are having issues with inflation and with money printing and resources and X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of issues. Can't even begin to unpack it right now. But I'm just saying, just putting this out there. What do you think the nutrition is like? What do you think she eats? What do you think? And let's be honest. If you are obese, yeah, you could do fasting. You can make better food choices. You don't have to eat all the time. You should not be eating all the time. So this could be used as a good opportunity to create other good habits and meditate and do those kind of stuff. I know I'm not saying like, oh, you're poor, well, just meditate and you don't have to eat anymore. But of course, she has other issues. And I guarantee that the quality of the food that she's eating, she's not making good choices with the money she is spending. So when people say that healthy food's expensive, is it? Is it though? I mean, what are you usually buying? A lot of junk food is very expensive. Plus, long-term, less nutrient dense. You're getting a lot more value, even though it might physically look like less food. It's more nutrient dense. So I don't know what other decisions she's making. I don't know what her financials are literally like. I don't know everything else. I'm not saying life is easy, but I mean, I think we can agree that the choices that are being made in terms of the food and X, Y, and Z, among other things, are probably not ideal. So, you know, let's just, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. I mean, if you're poor and you're buying garbage food, yeah, you're going to get fat from vegetable oils and seed oils and high fructose corn syrup, just low quality food and stress hormones and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Swole card time. And then we're going into OT, baby. So in a moment after we give away today's Swole card, we'll do a quick throwback and then we'll go into overtime. So you can start after we give away the Swole card. You can start shifting over into the Daily Swole Telegram chat. So let's give away today's Swole card. Striated September. Here we go. Raffling off a juicy one. Thanks for being here, sluts. Going into overtime. Striated September. We got a winner, Lindsay Jacobs, Striated September. Congratulations! Ripped and yoked like it ain't no joke. Lindsay, send us an email to support@swolenormous.com, swolecard 2674. Your mailing address in the body of the email. Fantastic. And we do have a throwback shortly coming up. Congratulations. Striated September will be in your mailbox in the near future. We got overtime coming up. Matt says, me and my family live paycheck to paycheck. We still make the best choice possible. Stop being a victim. This is the situation, fam. If you're spending money on food, make better food choices with the money that you are spending. And people think that they don't have control. You might not have as many choices, but you still have choices. You can buy chicken, you can buy beef, or you can buy Doritos, or McDonald's, or Burger King, right? Those are choices. Money works in both of those places. The money works in both of those places. Albert, I got you. I got you, baby.
I got hairy legs.
Albert wanted those hairy legs.
Look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there like a little lady in a race car.
We choose truth over fact.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Dodson, we've got Dodson here.
Who's ready for some OT? Who's ready for some driving while gaining? Let's fucking go. Come on, Beaches. Come on, Beaches.
Crucifixion is good. Out of the door, line on the left, one cross each.
That's a huge bitch. Loud noises.
I give it a 10. A 10. A fucking 10.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
We got it now. Hey yo.
I got hairy legs.
You switch the samples.
Driving while gaining, baby. It's OT. It's time for OT. Hey yo.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn!
No hands. Coast to coast. Hey! Yo. All right, who's ready for a little throwback? I should say we're skipping the throwback, but let's do the throwback, and then we're going into... All right, we're doing the throwback, and then we're going to go into overtime. Here we go, throwback time. Let's see what we got here. What we got?
What's in the box?
What do we got here? Let's see. Ooh, scary.
That is not per se a reason to be unhealthy.
Do you speak English?
And we just associate it with being unhealthy. That's another part of prejudice.
Sweet Jesus.
Most fat people actually have better blood works than I do.
So that means that you're perfectly healthy too.
Being fat is not healthy. What's with this blood work shit? Most fat people have better blood work? No.
Because fat were black people, and white people were savages and something not to be associated with.
You're racist.
Okay. All these people are fucking racist. They're all fucking racist. Okay. Very nice. Excellent. Round of applause for justifying your terrible habits.
So what? So what if I do?
Costanza. But my racism. Yeah, let's blame it on white supremacy. Oh, white supremacy. Being fat is healthy. Has nothing to do with it. But okay. Enjoy your cope. Enjoy anything to tie it into racism. Anything to tie it in to Marxism. Anything to perpetuate this bullshit. Anything to perpetuate, to make you a victim. Stay victimized, fam. Stay victimized. Stay a huge puss. Okay, time for OT. Time for OT, baby. We're going.
Finish him.
We're going. And we can't stop. Fam, head on into the Daily Swole Telegram chat right now. Overtime starts in 2 minutes, right at the end of the stream. We got a lot of people over there. Cerny, Matt, how we doing, fam? What else we got here? We got 2 Matts over there. Double Matts, Michelle. All right, people are coming in the door. All right, overtime, brand new balls deep edits. Brand new Drive While Gaining Uncensored. Let's fucking go. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for Swole Slut Saturday. Overtime starts right now. If you're watching this after the fact and you're like, shit, I missed it. No worries. We have it up in Swole TV later today. So join the fam, swolenormousx.com. Programs, nutrition, yoga, meditation, all 7 pillars, plus all the private groups and private live streams. So we'll see you in overtime right now. Daily Swole Telegram chat. We'll see you there. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose. Ya boy, Papa Swolio. Out.
I just wanna win on the low, like you making demands, I said whoa. I just wanna win on the low, like ask me where I've been, I said whoa. You making demands, I said